In gossip in the city, where gold was worth more than a heart, lived Lara, whose father Jan forced her to start a life with cold Darien, whose wealth was his shield, though whispers of cruelty his true self revealed. At a feast, she refused him, choosing Kale's honest hand, disowned and disgraced by the city's command. But Darien's great fortune, built only on pride, soon crumbled to ruin where true character died, proving Lara's choice that a life built on truth is the only true treasure from age to youth. This is Jan's workshop, the only place in Rivenhall where honest effort mattered more than social rank. But tonight Jan's mind was consumed by his daughter Lara's future. He saw the struggling artist Kale as a poverty-stricken obstacle. He saw the vast fortune of Darien as the only true foundation for security. Jan demanded stability. He insisted that love alone couldn't pay the bills of Rivenhall society. He saw only the glittering promise of Darien's fortune. But Lara knew she was being sold into a prison. She knew Kale offered truth and respect, while Darien offered contempt wrapped in silk. The battle for Lara's future had begun. Beyond the dusty honesty of Jan's workshop lay the gleaming yet cold world of Darien. His mansion was a monument to wealth, and in this gilded cage, Lara was expected to become just another prize. Darien spoke not of love but of ownership. He saw the world in terms of assets and obstacles. He casually mistreated his staff, viewing people as pawns in his grand, self-serving game. And he made his intentions for Lara painfully clear. He would control not only her life, but even her father's humble craft. To Darien, Jan's furniture was quaint, a novelty to be abolished once Lara was safely his. Each cruel gesture, each dismissive wave of his hand, chipped away at Lara's soul. The glittering facade of his wealth could not hide the emptiness beneath. She wasn't just marrying security. She was marrying a gilded prison, and the walls were closing in. Beyond the quiet confines of Jan's workshop and Darien's mansion, the true heartbeat of Rivenhall throbbed in its bustling market square. Here, news travelled faster than any carriage, fueled by whispers and speculation. The story of Lara's impending marriage was the juiciest morsel of all. The wealthy, with their own ambitions and societal climbing, praised Jan's cleverness in securing such a grand match. They scoffed at Lara's rumoured reluctance, dismissing it as girlish fantasy. To them, Darien's fortune made him an unblemished hero and the perfect husband. But amongst the dock workers, the street vendors, and the household servants, those who saw the raw edges of Rivenhall's elite, a different narrative circulated. They had seen Darien's true colours, the uncontrolled temper, the cruel remarks, the secret gambling debts. They knew the cost of his perfect reputation, a cost paid by those less fortunate. The city was a chorus of contradictory voices. The gossip, like tangled threads, wove together admiration and suspicion, envy and pity. Rivenhall loved a good story, but it was dangerously adept at ignoring the truth, especially when that truth threatened the shiny facade of its powerful. Even in the city's most exclusive restaurant, beneath the soft glow of chandeliers, the true character of Darien could not be entirely masked. This was meant to be a romantic dinner, a confirmation of the perfect match, but it was anything but. Darien, secure in his wealth and status, saw no need for genuine charm. His conversation was laced with dismissive comments about anything that didn't serve his ego or reflect his fortune. He openly mocked Jan's honest craft, calling it quaint, trivializing the very passion that defined Lara's family. Then, his true colours shone through with chilling clarity. A nervous waiter, flustered by Darien's dismissive attitude, made a small mistake. Darien's reaction was immediate. A cutting remark, a sneer that confirmed Lara's worst fears. It wasn't just a lapse in manners. It was a revelation of a deeply cruel heart. In that moment, Lara saw past the expensive suit and the glittering chandeliers. She saw the true prison Darian was offering her. She realized that no amount of Rivenhall gold could compensate for a life tied to such a soulless man. Her resolve, quietly forming, was now set in stone. This was it. The climax of Rivenhall's latest social drama. Amidst the opulent grandeur of the ballroom, Darian, swollen with arrogance and the city's expectations, presented the magnificent engagement ring. He expected a swift, grateful acceptance, another triumph to add to his vast collection. But in that electrifying moment, Lara found her voice, not in a whisper, but in a clear, ringing refusal. She saw the glittering ring not as a symbol of love, but as the final link in her gilded chains. She looked at Darian, then at her father Jan, whose hopes hung desperately on this moment. And then, her gaze drifted, finding an inner strength, a vision of an honest, simpler life. No! Her silent decision reverberated louder than any shout. She would not marry a man whose fortune was greater than his honor. She would not sacrifice her soul for Rivenhall's shallow notion of security. With that single, courageous act, Lara shattered the city's expectations and, indeed, the very social fabric of the evening. Darian stood aghast, his perfect world crumbling. Jan's face contorted in a mask of fury and humiliation. The entire city, gathered to witness a triumph, was instead treated to an unprecedented scandal. Lara had walked away from the golden cage into the unknown. The grand ballroom scandal was nothing compared to the storm inside Jan's study. To him, the rejection was not an act of courage, but a deliberate act of ruin. The shame brought by the failed match and the endless gossip it would unleash was a poison Jan could not endure. He raged, his fury fueled by humiliation and the terror of losing his precious standing in Rivenhall. He accused Lara of destroying not just her own future, but his reputation, his life's work. His voice, once protective, now delivered the cruelest blow. In a moment of blind, desperate rage, he cast her out. No more daughter, no more family. He condemned her to the poverty he had always feared, pushing her toward the man he despised, the artist Cale. But Lara, though wounded, did not break. She walked away from the wealth, the rage, and the chains of expectation. She left Rivenhall's gilded safety for the uncertain, yet honest, freedom of the unknown. The only thing she took with her was her dignity. Cast out from the gilded gates of Rivenhall, Lara found her true sanctuary in the most unexpected of places. A small, unassuming workshop by the river. Here, with Cale, the penniless artist her father had so despised, she began to build a life rich in a currency Rivenhall did not understand: honesty and purpose. There were no grand balls, no whispered gossip, no expectations of inherited wealth. Instead, there was the satisfying scent of wood, the quiet concentration of creativity, and the unwavering support of a man who saw her for who she truly was. Cale's sculptures, born from salvaged pieces, spoke of beauty found in unexpected places. Lara's painted boxes and restored furniture carried the spirit of enduring artistry. Their creations, though humble, possessed an authenticity that began to draw attention. People sought out their honest craftsmanship, their unique vision. Lara discovered a profound joy in her work, a deep fulfillment that no amount of Darian's cold gold could ever buy. She had chosen a life of truth, and in doing so, had found a richer fortune than any Jan had ever dreamed of for her. A year passed, proving that honesty is the only foundation that truly stands. The gossip that had fueled Rivenhall for so long finally met its master: the unyielding truth. The scandalous stories, Darian's violence, his reckless gambling, his sheer contempt for others were no longer whispers. They were hard fact. His vast, glittering fortune, which Jan had staked everything on, was revealed to be a fragile lie built on fraud and debt. Darian and his family were ruined. The city people who had been so quick to condemn Lara now scrambled to rewrite history. They hadn't witnessed an artist's foolish choice. They had witnessed a daughter's profound wisdom. And Jan, who had lost a significant part of his own security in Darian's failure, finally understood. He had confused the glitter of gold with the warmth of a lasting fire. He hadn't just lost money. He had lost his daughter's trust by valuing social standing over her happiness. He realized the freedom Lara chose was no poverty at all. Her life, built with Kale on character and integrity, was the only fortune that had proven real. The city's corruption had finally exposed itself. When the city of Rivenhall chose gold over truth, it proved that a fortune can vanish in youth. Look past the bright glamour that gossip defines. For true character shines when the false wealth declines. Choose honesty's peace. That foundation will last, while the life built on greed will eventually crash.